Thanks very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the government is once again disallowing input and advice from NGO groups like Pembina and the Alberta Wilderness Association, plus the First Nations and others on development hearings. A judge threw out the last decision because the government categorized Pembina and other NGOs as unco-operative environmentalists and instructed staff to scrutinize their applications more critically and bar them from the hearings. This is exactly what outsiders see as a deliberate disregard for environmental concerns. So, to the Minister of the Environment, why is the government repeating the same action with the same reasoning?
The Honourable Minister responsible for the environment.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. And, Mr. Speaker, all the three of the organizations of the group that the member across the way has talked about are viable leaders and do bring great insight into many conversations about protecting our environment. I know this group is interested in development decisions, but having interest in a matter, Mr. Speaker, is not the same as being directly affected by that matter. And the process at hand is focused on considering the concerns of those who would be directly affected, and they don't meet the criteria, Mr. Speaker.
First supplemental.
Well, okay, Mr. Speaker, what information would be so dangerous, so damaging to economic growth, so detrimental to all-out, never-ending, uncontrolled development that it can't even be spoken at a hearing? Aren't hearings formed to hear from all sources?
Good question. Minister for Environment.
Well, Mr. Speaker, again, we don't run the hearing, Mr. Speaker. We have a quasi-judicial board that runs those hearings. But I can say to you, Mr. Speaker, that following the judicial review, we had our department address the issue raised by conducting a second and very thorough review of the statement of concern, and the review independently reached the same conclusion, Mr. Speaker.
Final supplemental.
Again to the same minister. Will the minister overturn this decision to bar the opinion of people they disagree with? Because if he won't listen, these folks will be driven into the waiting and welcoming arms of a U.S. Senate committee.
The Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, again, we have a quasi-judicial board that is tasked with listening to these hearings and making decisions of who's in front of them, Mr. Speaker, and I'm not about to interfere with that process.